Hello, my name is Caleb Badgley, and I'll be auditioning for the role of high school graduate. Sorry, wrong introduction. Hello, everyone. How are we doing this morning? If you haven't seen me up here, obviously you've missed out on some great productions put on by the Oakridge School. One of the things that I've noticed about the shows I've been in and this stage is that this stage has taught me a lot over the years. My first show here at the Oakridge School on this main stage was Life with Father. I mean, technically we had a show in middle school, but we don't talk about that. So I was cast as Dr. Reverend Lloyd, a local preacher and friend of the Day family who were the main characters of the show. Notice I say cast, though. I'm sure most of you here have heard of what happened at the beginning of show week, but if you didn't have the honor of knowing me at the time, let me explain. Our cast had put in 6 weeks of work into the show until the beginning of show week. Our leading role, Father, whose name is right up there in the title, left Oakridge. That day, Mr. DeBoard called me into his office and asked me if I'd play Father. I'm sure the look on my face was priceless, to say the least. I, of course, agreed and spent the next 3 days learning an entire show, studying lines with whoever else was available from the cast. Let me tell you something, though. It was terrible. Then came show night, and I cannot express the feeling of utter terror I had before I had to come in stage right, down the stereo unit we built for the set, and into view of the audience. But once I got out there, everything went fine, as far as you know. Sure, I skipped over plenty of lines, and we went in a lot of circles, but it went great. We were still able to put on a full 3-act play with one of the biggest hurdles imaginable thrown in our way. This show taught me that as long as you try your hardest to do your best, nothing else really matters. And being able to try your hardest to accomplish something feels great. The next show I was in was later that year, The Drowsy Chaperone. Now, let me tell you something about me as a sophomore. I did not like singing in front of people, like in the slightest. Like, the thought was scarier than, losing our lead 3 days before show night. Yet, somehow, I let my friend Kenzie, who's a pretty cool cat, convince me to not only sing in front of everybody, but dance, too. I expressed my concerns to Mr. Stewart, and he asked me a very reasonable question. If you don't want to sing or dance, why do you want to be in the musical? I thought the answer was pretty obvious. I have no clue. Regardless of my indecisiveness, I was already cast, and it was difficult. My singing at the beginning was less than stellar, to say the least, and I'm sure when Mr. Stewart first heard me, he would have muted my microphone. But, as all skills do, with time they improved. And I'm not saying I was the best singer out there, because that'd be a quite blatant lie, but it got better. So I'm told. This show taught me to face your fears and overcome them, because all they do is hold you back. Last year, we put on the show, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. It was a lengthy title for a lengthy show. The show took forever to finally finish running through, but once we were done, it felt great. There was nothing particularly difficult about this show, to be honest, but I will say knitting was not exactly my cup of tea. This show taught me that friendship is important. I made plenty of friends during the show, even some freshmen. I know, gross. But this show wouldn't have run nearly as well had we not all been friends. Sure, you can have one star actor or a great dancer, but that's not enough to take it to the next level. The only thing that can do that is bonding with your castmates. I'm sure if we didn't have such a close bond, our Brotherhood of Man scene, which was a huge dance number and song, it wouldn't have run nearly as well. It would have just looked like a bunch of students out here dancing and doing what they rehearsed for the past 3 months. But instead of a bunch of students out here on this stage, it felt like a bunch of friends putting on something great. Now, if you were asleep during my required speech in order to graduate, I want you to take away 3 things. Do you challenge your fears? Do you try your hardest to do your best? Do you cherish your friendships and understand their importance? If not, then maybe this stage has taught you something too. Thank you.